CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV. Welcome to CBT News with Shyann Malone.
Good morning and welcome to the CBT News Daily Newscast. I'm Shyann Malone. Thanks so much for joining us. Here's a look at today's top automotive industry stories.
American Honda has revealed its industry outlook for 2024. The outlook showed that the automaker sold 1.3 million cars in 2023, a 33% increase from last year due to resolved logistics issues and steady production. The brand also seeks to sell 1.3 million vehicles during 2024, while Acura plans to sell 150,000 units. Additionally, in 2024, Acura will sell the ZDX, an all-electric SUV where customers can complete online transactions using a new omni-channel shopping experience. FordDirect has announced the debut of The Shop, a new e-commerce platform for dealers. The Shop is a tailored online shopping experience designed to help dealers manage the challenges of operating in the changing retail automotive landscape. With the help of FordDirect, The Shop will give dealers access to pre-vetted suppliers and pre-negotiated rates on the goods and services that dealerships require. At launch, The Shop will offer integrations with Better Car People, Comply Auto, OfferLogix, and more. Up next, to further Honda's successful hybrid lineup, the automaker plans to release the all-new 2025 Civic Hybrid this summer, marking the first Civic Hybrid sold in the US since it left production in 2015. The hybrid will now be offered as a sedan and a hatchback. The Civic's hybrid powertrain is expected to be the same as the hybrid Accord, featuring a 2.0-liter engine, 2 electric motors, and a 1 kilowatt-hour battery. The automaker plans to introduce style and infotainment upgrades to the new model as well. Finally, the electric Mustang Mach-E model lineup is expanding with the addition of a new bronze appearance package, which is only available on the 2024 Mustang Mach-E. The new bronze package includes a 20-inch sinister bronze painted aluminum wheels, Mach-E 4X door badges, and a rear GT emblem outlined in bronze. The vehicle will also have a striking bronze mesh front grille, and more details are expected at a later date. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with Shyann Thompson, the founder and CEO of the CADIA, to discuss how dealers can diversify their dealerships.
CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV.
So, there's a lot of things we can talk about, right? Different perspectives, but you actually conducted a study and you had some key findings. First, walk us through that study and tell us what jumps out to you most.
Yes. We have been trying to do this industry study for the last 3 or 4 years because although we can look around and kind of see what representation looks like, we really wanted to dig into the granularity of that data. Where are we in terms of diversity in job functions, leadership levels? We kind of know that the leadership pipeline looks like a triangle. We've got plenty of diversity at the entry level, but the higher up you go, the less and less we see. And I think that really requires us to take a look at career paths and job functions. And then the other thing that we always hear is, well, women and minorities, they just don't go into these technical fields. And so we really wanted to dig into that as well. So that's why we did the study. So I'm really pleased over the last year we've been able to do this study, and we looked at about 40 companies across automotive, mobility, retail dealerships. And we had a portion of those companies share their demographic data with us. And then we used publicly available information to kind of complete that look. And I'm optimistic from what I saw. So what I'm seeing is women's representation, it's staying about 24 to 26% when I look at automotive as a whole and when I look at retail specifically. But what I think is really interesting is representation of the leadership roles is on par with that of the industry workforce. So what that's telling me is where I used to see fewer women at the top, that pyramid effect,
Sure.
I'm starting to see that smooth out now. So that tells me we're making some progress. However, on the ethnic and racial minorities, I'm seeing consistent representation at the entry level, but we're seeing a bigger gap in terms of leadership. So what that tells me is the great work that we've been doing for women, because there's been a ton of focus on women in automotive, we need to apply some of those lessons learned to racial and ethnic minorities.
What else stands out to you when you look at the study and the results?
The other thing that stands out is attrition. We see higher attrition. It's very high for Black or African American workers, and that is both across all of automotive and within the dealer world. And then I would say there's higher representation of Hispanic and Latino workers in retail when I look compared to just manufacturing. And that could be because there's a lot of dealerships with locations in Florida, Texas, and California. And when you look across manufacturing, that's more of the Midwest. That's the other thing I see. Across the dealerships, I would say there's consistent, steady progress being made. Some companies that have shared their data publicly have been tracking this since back to 2018, and they're continuing to make that steady progress on both females in leadership, in board positions, and across the workforce. And it's just really, really promising to see.
So
the other thing go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say the other thing is we're seeing structure being put into place, which is really, really important. Having workers or staff dedicated to driving these programs for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And be sure to watch the full-length interview right here at cbtnews.com. Well, that does it for our show today, but we do invite you right back here tomorrow morning on cbtnews.com. And remember, you can stay up to date with the most recent news and trends influencing the retail automotive industry by following us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Shyann Malone on behalf of all of us at CBT News. See you next time.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content. CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV